are back. Pau Hana Podcast,
Season
season
2.
2. Love to be back here. Great to see you, bud.
It is
Been a little
fantastic to be here with you, Pat. Excited for season 2. Everything we got coming for you guys, and yeah, can't wait to dive in.
yeah, it's been a little bit of a hiatus. Been working through a few different things, but excited to get this series back up and running and talk all things Maui real estate. Um been some wild times here since our last episode. Basically going back to the first of the year, we got through first quarter. Um, and it's been a roller coaster, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Market, kind of slowed down, and when typically during our high season, it's ramped up and running. There's still deals out there to be made, but overall, the buyer demand has grown a little thin on us here.
Absolutely. I think there's a bit of uncertainty out there in the world right now. We got a pretty volatile political environment right now. Pretty volatile equities market right now. So everyone's just a little hesitant. But when there's hesitation, there can be opportunity. And we're seeing, we're talking with a lot of our clients, and they're definitely looking at some of those opportunities, and some of them are jumping in. We got some deals going right now.
Yeah,
So
there's
yeah,
definitely some buyers that aren't as afraid as others, right? But it's still, yeah, just still it's going to take some of these sellers to get a little bit more realistic with where the market is, before we see, an increase in activity like we all want to see.
yeah, yep. I hear you. I hear you. We should probably start by touching on mortgage rates. They have been dancing around more than Travolta and Saturday Night Fever, and we've settled in to right around 7% right now.
Yeah, they're kind of where they were when the year started, right? They may have come down a little bit overall, but if you look at it from a micro perspective, um, yeah, it's kind of to speak on what you said early. Volatile is kind of a word that I would use to describe it. I think they got as high as the low eights, and then as low as the high sixes. But here we
I don't
are,
know, bud.
about the
We
same.
were we were in the fives. Don't you remember?
No,
Yeah, we got into the upper fives. That was probably, I don't know, a couple months ago. Um, Sat there for about a week. Some people locked in at like 5 and 3/4, and then they shot right back up. But yeah, no, we're hanging in there around 7 right now. Um, no idea where that's gonna go. Um, it's very hard to predict right now. But um, wanted to touch on some of the data for first quarter, just so everyone's up to speed on where things are actually at. Because there's a lot I feel like the whole world is headline driven right now. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but um, people are very quick to make assumptions. Let's look at what the numbers are telling us. I got my cheat sheet in front of me. I don't know. You got your cheat sheet?
I have a cheat sheet, but it's we'll see if our cheat sheets align here.
So the real kind of indicator that's been moving is our inventory. Inventory's climbing. We got new listings coming on the market. Things are moving at a slower pace. And the best kind of gauge of that is months of inventory. This is like an absorption rate. So our absorption rate is up. Where we got it? Oh, I had it here. I had it. I lost it.
Can you explain absorption rate for those at home that
Yeah.
are a little
So
unclear on that
inventory,
term?
yes. So inventory is like the number of properties on the market, at any given time, right? So that tells you
Okay.
one thing. It's like how many houses are out there.
Right.
Um, then you have your pending sales, which are how many houses are in contract, right? So the absorption rate is kind of the confluence of those two numbers. So it gives you an idea of the pace of the market. How quick are things moving, right? So, if inventory keeps creeping up, but things are selling quick, then that number will be fairly stable. But if
Right.
inventory creeps up and pending sales go down, then our absorption rate slows. And I had the number here. Yeah, so
Like
months of supply right now.
what's a what's a regular absorption rate for our market, would you say?
Oh gosh. In months of supply, we've hovered in the 6, 7, 8 month range. We're as low as 2, 1.5 back in 2022.
Hot market, it's
Um,
lower.
Even last year, homes were at about a 4.5 month supply. Um, that has
Oh, here we
jumped.
go.
You got it? You got it?
I do. We're at 8.8 right now. Absorption.
Um, yes. And that's as a percentage, right?
Yeah, in April of last year, we were at a 4.1, so
Yeah.
almost
So it's,
double the absorption rate.
yeah, well, yeah. So in supply terms, it's like how long is it going to take to go through the current supply we have on the market, given our current pending sales rate? So for houses, it went from 4.5 last year. We're at 7.5 this year.
Yep.
Condos really went up. Last year we
Well,
were at 6.5 months. Now we're at 14.8 months.
the condos are skewing a lot of the data in our market. So I think it's important to look
Good
at
point.
the two
Valid
segments
point.
separately. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a combination of legislation, maintenance fee increases via, insurances after the fire and stuff like that. It's just we kind of got two separate markets going on when typically they're a little closer tied together. Right now, there's really no connection in, what's selling and how long it takes to sell them. It just kind
Yeah.
of feels like it's very disconnected. Whereas,
Valid
typically
points.
it's a little more
Very valid points. Very valid
absorbed
points.
together.
Um, True. And it's kind of been that way for the last year, year and a half, 2 years. I mean, we've had this, we had the tragic fires that really affected the market, slowed things down. Everything kind of sat still for a bit. Um, then we've seen quite a bit of movement coming out of that. And then we had the proposed legislation to convert a lot of the short-term rental buildings over to long-term rentals. That's still in limbo. There's been a lot of chatter about it. And now that market has remained quite stagnant because of that. But hopefully we'll have some resolution soon, right? I mean, I think there's talk. They're supposed to meet on it in the coming weeks. So it's coming soon. Hopefully we'll get some clarity there.
Well, at least we got the economic impact study,
Yep. Yep.
that got released, and it kind of confirmed what we thought it would say, and that it would have a pretty vast effect on the smaller economies on Maui as a whole. Like each individual community would be greatly affected
Yeah.
if this proposed legislation were to be passed in full.
Yeah. Big shocker there. It just showed that it would really tank local revenue, or some of our primary revenue streams. Um, Tourist dollars, just sheer tourism spend, right? Number one. Tax revenues, two. You're, you're taking all these properties out of a tax class that is the highest rate tax class in the market, and you're converting them to one of the lowest rates. So that's huge change. And your tourism taxes as well, your transient accommodation. So, um, some big impacts there potentially, but I think there's a feel in all the chatter out there and kind of what everyone who's in the know is thinking is that this is going to be greatly pared down, pulled back, maybe not pass at all. or if it does, they're going to really fine tune which buildings they're going to maybe do that to. Most likely, it's going to be more affordable complexes that, honestly were originally designed to be apartments. So, there's a handful of those around, and I'm not opposed to converting some of those. To be honest, that might be a hot take, but
It's not. I mean,
some of them make
it makes
sense.
it
Yeah,
does make sense, specifically to West Maui,
yeah,
that, where housing is vastly needed, after the fire. It it makes sense to have, some of those complexes, particularly ones off the water, right? Because there's so much cost that goes involved in having a condo complex on the water that, take some of the ones that are off the water, some of the ones that were originally designed and built to be long-term, residences for people that work in those communities to help support the community as a whole. And, I don't think that's a hot take at all. If anything,
yeah,
that's, that more aligns with I think what the intent of this bill is supposed to be. But
yeah,
somehow, it's just, now they want 7,000 units, and it just, thankfully this economic impact study kind of confirmed what we thought, and hopefully, you know, the council takes that into account with how
yeah,
they vote.
yeah. And I think they will. Um, so yeah, that's kind of been the big news. That's kind of this variable out there that no one knows where things are going to go with that. But we should have some clarity here soon. I think that will shift the condo market once we know one way or another how that's going to go.
It will.
Um,
Obviously, if it passes, values are going to come down. Um,
yeah,
the hotels are stoked at this bill. I'll tell you that.
yeah, yeah. We know who the big supporters are of the bill. No, no confusion there. Um, but yeah, all these doom and gloom numbers seem like everything's just going down the hole here. But keep in mind, median prices are holding fairly steady. And I think everyone needs to remember that. Median single family still right around 1.3. That's year to date.
Yep.
Condos have softened a little bit. Condos are down about 4% to just under 800. So even with all this going on, prices haven't shifted much at all here. Um, I do think prices are going to soften a little bit here in the near term, and we're kind of going through it right now, right? Like we're in the middle of negotiations for clients right now that illustrates exactly what's happening. We have sellers that are still very firm on their price, and they're not really willing to adjust yet. Some are, most aren't. And buyers who see the market has shifted and they want a better deal. So there's tough negotiations going on right now. That's sort of that transitory period, right? Um, so I think everyone needs to keep that in mind, whether you are buying or selling, that, you know, be conscious of the current state of the market. What's the data right now? What's happening right now? What is your personal situation right now? And what's the best way to approach buying or selling? I think understanding all those variables is super important. That's why you got to work with someone who really knows what's going on in the market right now. It's more important, really, than ever. So yeah, just wanted to throw that in there. Medians holding fairly solid for now.
Which I don't understand how how that is. Like, how is that possible? Because, we've been in the market, we've been working in the market, we've been doing deals in this market, and we are, constantly negotiating a higher percentage below list price and where we think the market value is for the buyer. So what's keeping the median price, holding steady? It's just kind of I've been thinking about this the last couple of weeks, and as these numbers keep coming out, they're not going down, and um, that's just not a huge reflection of what I'm seeing, out in the field. I don't know about you,
Yeah,
but um, it feels like, we're constantly, negotiating and doing deals, below market. Um, And so, yeah, I do think it's a great opportunity for buyers right now. And it kind of feels similar to there was a point last year where we recorded, I can't exactly remember where, we kind of touched on the same exact thing, that you have serious negotiating power right now. There's no competition. And it just takes finding, that right seller to kind of come off their number and be willing to do a deal. Because there, I mean, it's there. If they really need to sell, and they'll come off their number. Some of them still won't, like Wailea in particular. I've written a few offers in Wailea the past couple months, and those sellers are, you know, they're holding firm. But in other markets on Maui, it doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, if they have the staying power, they're trying to hold out. A lot of these second homeowners, if they have the ability to hold out, um, they are. Unless there's other circumstances at play that are pushing them to sell sooner than later.
Yeah.
Um, Trying to find some data.
But to
Data
that same point,
on
we got that Maui Meadows
volume.
listing right now that we're in contract right at list price. And to be honest, we listed, a little above where we thought the market was, and we were still, able to
Yeah,
get that particular seller a number that she's very, very happy with.
yeah.
And
Well, and I think our conversation with that seller was super important going into it, and she
yeah,
understood what was going on in the market, where things are at. I think now more than ever, pricing your property well and appropriate for the current conditions, super important. Now is not the time to chase an unrealistic price higher than any of the comps. Um, that is not the strategy to win right now. I think pricing it appropriately. And I've been telling my seller clients lately, it's like, yeah, the comps this, the comps that. Honestly, the comps don't mean anything right now.
yeah,
Comps don't mean anything. It's your competition in the marketplace. What are the other active listings? And that's not how you typically analyze a
value,
sale.
yeah, yeah,
Right. Because we're normally like, if it's active, it doesn't really matter because it hasn't sold, so it's not a benchmark. But right now, it's what are we competing against and how can we position ourselves well so we're looking like a good value amongst the competition. So that's been the strategy we've been going with lately, and it seems to be an effective one. Um, I
I
was
love
trying to
that. I mean,
find, I was trying to find the median numbers
for
for
what?
Wailea specifically,
Value.
year over year. Oh, interesting. And I know exactly why this is. So year to date median this year over last year is up 145%. Are values in Wailea up 145%? No. No. What that means is we're seeing more of the transactions at those higher price points.
Yeah,
And I'm glad I actually looked at that because this is kind of one of those points I wanted to touch on. The activity at the higher price points, we'll call it, over 3 million, um, has been much higher than at the sub 2 million. The stuff that's moving, a lot of it's 4, 5, 6 plus. And I think, and this is talking with clients and stuff, I think that's because some clients are getting out of the equity markets right now, or they did get out last, fourth quarter of last year. And I think people are parking some money in real estate. Um, with all the volatility in the equity markets, I think real estate has been a more appealing play right now. And so we are seeing some people buy in at higher price points, potentially for that reason. You know, just park the money in there, ride a steady appreciation for the short term. And, maybe they've always wanted to have a place in Maui, and there's a
right.
lot
They
of
get to
that
use
at
it.
play as
Yeah, yeah,
well. You
yeah,
get to
yeah,
use it,
yeah.
it's generating some income potentially. Um, and it's a much more stable return than what's going on in the stock market.
I mean, I think that's spot on. It's definitely, in line with what we've been seeing, particularly in Wailea, McKenna, and Kapalua, where you are seeing some of these, 5, 10, $20 million homes, go into contract and eventually close. Whereas that $2 to $5 million range has been much slower. At least that's what I've seen.
For sure. For sure. So yeah, some interesting dynamics at play right now. Um, it's who knows what the future holds. But, I think we're going to be in this similar environment for the near term. Um, really, it's more important than ever to have, a informed guide or agent working with you to decipher all this and help make the most informed decisions possible.
Love it. We got, you want to do story time?
Yeah, let's do it. What do we got?
So, quick story time. Was with some clients, showing property in Wailea about a month ago, and we had seen, um, 4 or 5 properties over 2 or 3 days, and we're on the third day of, showing property, and got a good relationship with them. They're both doctors. They're from Vegas. Great people, great family. Kids are great. They're all in tow, coming to the showings, and um, actually showing a unit at Kaimalu here in Wailea. And we're walking through. They're not really vibing the place, and so I know we're about to get out of there. But um, I just started to feel unwell. Okay, very unwell, and there
Oh
had been
no.
something. Yeah, there had been something that had ran through my house like a week prior, and I thought I missed it. My kid got it, my wife got it, but so we're walking out, and we're standing by my car talking, and I just it came over me. I felt it. I was about to get sick, and there was no running from it. It was
Oh
past that
no.
point, and I just looked at my clients, and I was like, guys, I'm really sorry, but I'm about to be sick. And so I go out
Like
to
you
the
gave
side
him
of
a
my.
heads up. You gave him
I
a
had
warrant.
to.
You gave him a
Well,
heads up. It's
well,
coming.
so I'm just in this guy's yard in Kaimalu, just vomiting, dude. Like just throwing
Oh.
up. It
Oh.
was gnarly. I had eaten that day. I'd eaten some toast with strawberry jelly, and so it was all red. And
Oh no.
I'm like thinking, I'm like, dude, is
The
this
kid's
blood?
screaming.
Like what's going on? Yeah, the daughter is just like disgusted. She's like 8 years old, and my client is he's holding my hair back, dude. He's holding my hair back. He's rubbing my back. He's getting me water. He's dumping a water bottle all over the back of my neck and my head, just making me feel good. And
Oh
so
man. Oh man. At least
I get
they're at
done.
least they're doctors, they
I
know,
know he totally understood, and they were great. And I get done being sick. I mean, it was a good solid 2 minutes, and
Wow.
you start to feel instantly a little better, right? And you're like, God
Oh yeah.
dang, like I just threw up in front of you guys. I'm really sorry. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like, we're just, hopefully you're not too sick. And they're like, when was the last time you drank alcohol? And I was like, it's been a couple days. It's not from that, I promise. And yeah, but overall, I think it was a good bonding experience for us.
Will
And
it bring you closer?
it did. As crazy as that is to say,
Oh my
um,
gosh.
the days following, they were checking in on me and stuff. And but yeah, like we're pretty tight now, and I just think it's good to have something like that happen and to
Once you
have it.
hold someone's hair back when they're vomiting, usually you reach that next level of friendship.
Yeah, now we're in, and it was just so funny because I was with them for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and so I was just worried they were gonna to feel like they were gonna get sick, but luckily they didn't. I was the only one,
Yeah.
and yeah, now we're actively writing offers
Oh,
on properties, and
oh
we're
wow.
gonna do a deal soon. It's gonna be great.
Wow. Did you hose off the driveway?
I didn't know, dude. I was in a yard. It was just on the grass, man. Like,
Oh
luckily the
man.
people weren't home. Luckily it's It's pretty
Vacant?
popular second home community here, and so wasn't a whole lot of people around, but it was broad daylight, man. Just throwing up. Yeah,
Oh man.
it's pretty
What a
classic.
story. What a story.
Yeah.
I uh I can't say I've ever done that, man. So that's a first. That's a first. Love to hear it though. Bonding
Yeah, just
experience.
rubbing my back and pulling my hair back, man.
Yeah.
Just helping a
Yeah.
brother out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, bud. That was quite a story. Um, I think that's all we got for today. We're gonna end it with Sloan's bonding experience with his clients, showing you we really do go above and beyond to represent our clients. So, we're gonna get a much better frequency going here. That's our goal. Um, I know it's been a while since we did our last episode. This is season two opener, coming out with a bang. And we're gonna have a lot more guests come in, and just a lot more content coming out. So we're excited for that. And as always, reach out if you got questions. We're here for you. And great chatting with you today, Sloan.
Thanks, Pat. Always great to be here with you in the arena. Um, yeah, love hearing your perspective on things, and I know the clients and the world appreciate that as well.
The world.
That's right,
The
dude.
world.
Wide.
Um, Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we'll be on here again soon. Pau Hana Podcast, season two opener. Aloha.
You.